In just mere seconds, I'm going to deliver something stupid called a keynote address. A species of presentation that skyrocketed in popularity across the business and tech world since the dawn of the millennium. Today, it feels like no product can be launched without some CEO getting on a big stage and yapping about it, despite any lack of charisma, public speaking skills, or general things to talk about. So why does every tech company do one of these? Where did they come from? Why are they all the same? And is it possible to use this very device against itself to breathe life into this stale corporate ritual?
Good morning, TEDx Tampa.
My investigation started late one February night while I was watching Steve Jobs' Macworld keynote address from 2007, as I do every Wednesday. As Stephen glided across the stage, I couldn't help but feel as though this presentation was eerily similar to other ones that I've seen more recently from some of today's tech leviathans.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Google I/O.
Welcome to Apple Park.
Microsoft Build.
A warm welcome to Canva Create.
The stage, the screens, the hand motions, the CEOs saying good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Clearly, every tech company that champions themselves being unique innovators was doing the same thing. But why? How did we get to this point in corporate society where every tech company's form of presentation has ossified into the same eerie song and dance? And why is it always in the morning? I had to dig deeper. Obviously, I wasn't going to actually go to one of these. Have you seen them?
Boom! My phone is my conference room. We're working with some amazing people. Guillermo del Toro. Big Bird.
Will Smith.
It's good, Barry. It's good. It was smoke, and it was a nice, strong Sony strobe.
Justin Timberlake.
Thank you. All right. How you guys doing? You rocking it out at CES? Yeah, I hear you.
Certainly not. So instead, I spoke to a guy who has to go to these presentations for his job, Alex Heath, deputy editor at the tech publication The Verge.
Alex, today we're talking about tech keynotes. Now, just to start us off, I'm wondering if you could define what a tech keynote is for somebody who's never heard of one.
It's an event usually in some kind of vibey theater where a tech CEO, usually a white man unfortunately, gets in front of a group of people and prognosticates and makes fun gestures and has slides behind him and talks about what the company is doing, announces products, and gives usually his view of the world.
Okay, so clearly these presentations absolutely rock, especially if you get to be the guy giving them. Alex told me that a lot of the keynote format comes from none other than Apple and Steve Jobs, who gave one of his first keynote addresses at a general meeting of the Boston Computer Society in 1989, inside John Hancock Hall, where outside, police were hosing down hordes of horned-up women just begging to get in. During the speech, he announced the arrival of the Macintosh, featuring historic lines that I still whisper to my wife in bed today.
Macintosh has 4-voice sound and speech built in.
Ah, that's the stuff. This speech would become the first in what are now known as Steve Notes, speeches that Jobs would give each year announcing a new product to the world. In them, Jobs would walk about a minimalistic stage in his black turtleneck, introducing a new piece of tech for future generations to play Bloons Tower Defense on. These would go on to be viewed by millions of people and have since inspired many a founder as well.
Yeah, there's been some pretty blatant Jobs wannabe copycat stuff that I've seen over the years. Brian Chesky wore all black on a stage in all black with black curtains with the font of the keynote slide that looks like the early Apple keynote slides. He would go off to the side, which is a thing Jobs would do. There's like a black booth, a demo booth on the side where you would have an iPhone or a device, paired to the screen to show live demos. He would go off to the side and do that. That was a classic Jobs thing.
Now, I love a classic Jobs thing as much as the next guy, but the more I heard from Alex, the more it sounded to me like these presentations in their current form are less inspiring showcases to the masses and more stilted pieces of techno theater from guys copying Steve Jobs.
Folks, I want you to look at something. That is my personal license plate. You might be shocked that I'm willing to be so vulnerable showing this to you now, but to be honest, it makes no difference. Because unfortunately, I got into a bit of a road rage incident last week with a biker that I T-boned on purpose, and they soon took a picture of my license plate. They then looked it up online where they found all my personal information off of a people searching site. And now everyone knows, despite all of my attempts at being discreet, that I drive the honker's car. This all could have been avoided if I had been using Incogni. Incogni is an online service that wipes your personal data and information off of places you don't want it across the web. You see, friends, oftentimes data brokers will scour the internets for details about you, like your home address, court records, social security number, and yes, tasteful license plate you keep on the back of your bright purple Nissan Juke. They will then sell that data, to all kinds of online scoundrels who will use your information to spam you, steal your identity, and all other kinds of vagabond activities. Fortunately, Incogni will automate the process of reaching out to data brokers and getting your personal data out of those evil places. Not only that, but if you sign up for a yearly subscription, then Incogni will continue to comb the web for places your data pops up on the off chance that you are addicted to the thrill of road rage like myself. This also includes Incogni's new custom removals feature, which lets you share links to websites that have your information directly with Incogni, and Incogni will take care of it. So if that sounds Gucci to you, then go to incogni.com/goodwork to get 60% off your annual plan. That way you can rip through the streets of America free of concern that your hilarious license plate will be used for evil. See you on the open road. One of the things I can't get out of my brain when I'm watching these events is who the hell is sitting in the audience. It seems like they have an entire stadium's worth of dorks in there. Who's usually the audience at these events?
It's a lot of dorks. Usually the company will fill the first few rows with its executive team and VIPs and employees. You got to pad it with employees because you need claps. So, journalists, we don't clap at these things. That's kind of considered a faux pas. So you need to have people in the audience who are going to hoot and holler when you announce that, you've switched from Lightning to USB-C or whatever.
Are there a lot of celebrity cameos at these events, usually?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there are. You always see someone interesting. Rick Rubin, Kevin Costner, Bono obviously was at the Apple event, John Mayer, a lot of Hollywood people, a lot of studio execs. Yeah, they invest a lot in the production and in it coming across as really smooth. The rehearsals for these are usually multi-day affairs. It's funny, Google invented its own teleprompter for its events. That is just this fancy tech that only the presenter can see and follows them no matter where they look. And it's the most Google thing ever to invent something like that for just that.
Do you feel like there's almost like a hamster wheel that these companies fall into when you have a yearly developers conference where you feel like you have to announce something?
Oh yeah, it feels like that all the time. Putting yourself on this 1 year hamster wheel is definitely going to force you to take shortcuts and do things that are probably not actually ready for prime time, or things that you're pre-announcing that may change a lot before they roll out.
Indeed, a side effect of having a yearly tech keynote is that companies are routinely pressed to push out products while they're still premature. In 2024, Snap teased an entire redesign at a partner event that never happened. Google scrapped an Ask Photos feature that it announced the same year, and also announced this Nexus cue ball thing in 2012 before quietly discontinuing it. Apple teased the AirPower charging mat in 2017 that never came out, and Elon announced the commercial Death Tank sedan in 2019, chucked a ball at it, then delayed its release by 2 years. But come on, folks, this is tech. They live by the rule of announcing stuff, delaying its release, and issuing a ton of recalls until its final iteration comes out as something disappointing or completely different.
For the bigger companies that have been doing this for a while, the Microsofts, Googles, Metas, Apples, these keynotes are part of their identity. They're part of the culture, right? There's some things that the companies have been doing for sometimes decades. And so when that becomes such a habitual thing and a thing that the leadership team is thinking about and always thinking ahead to, they really are a reflection of the company itself and where the company is at on a given year. And the older the company gets and the longer this keynote for X company has been going, the more I think just subconscious it is for the company. Like, it's just something that they do, and it's the thing they build around every year.
The situation seemed hopeless. The richest, most powerful, most boring people in the world, addicted to giving slideshow presentations about changing the charging ports on their devices in front of an audience of their literal paid subordinates, and one extremely uncharmed deputy editor from The Verge named Alex Heath. Horrifying. But if anyone had a shot at changing this, I figured it was me. Although if I wanted to get through to them, I had to meet these guys where they were, speak their language, do their little singy-song and dance. I had to give a keynote, myself, on the biggest stage in worldwide media. TEDx Tampa. Obviously, I was hype about the opportunity, but at the same time, I was intimidated. I've never done public speaking, and I've never been a fan of stages. My father always told me not to look down on other men when addressing them. And with such an important message to deliver, I had to make sure everything was perfect. What I needed was a coach, someone with TED Talk experience who could give me the right advice for speaking on the TED stage.
The thing is that I'm a whistler. So when you whistle, you breathe air through your mouth. Your mouth dries up, and you have to moisturize it with water. So that's the problem. If you have to whistle on a stage and you're nervous, that's very difficult.
So what I'm hearing is I need a moist mouth.
Well, if you're going to whistle, yes, for sure.
Perfect. Geert Chatrou is a 3-time world champion whistler whose TED Talk has over 2 million views. Ladies and jefes, I think I found my coach.
That's incredible.
So I think that's the key thing. For whistling, only whistling, I'm never nervous because I'm very confident that I will do a great job. And that sounds horrible. That sounds very bragging, but I'm just sure about the whistling.
Should I be myself on stage, or should I be charming and interesting and smart?
That will be very hard for you, I guess.
Precisely, Geert. But I'm sure it's easy being yourself on stage when you're a delightful whistling Dutchman with lips of gold. Clearly, Geert was a master of his craft, but in order to give an all-time keynote, I needed to talk to somebody whose expertise was a little less whistly.
Do you meditate? Do you listen to a certain song? Anything like that?
All of the above, but there's one that I recently learned that has sort of like changed my life.
Ketamine. That's my recommendation.
Yes.
That's more like it. Neelu Kaur is an organizational psychologist, author, and frequent keynote speaker who's used to helping nervous Nellies like myself feel comfortable under the white-hot lights of the thought leadership arena. During our session, she taught me valuable lessons like how to send the strongest version of myself on stage.
So if you send like a scared, younger, smaller part of Dan, it's going to be a disaster.
A younger, smaller part of me. Do I have that?
We all have these scared, younger, smaller parts.
I don't.
How to keep your cool while you're up there standing and delivering?
One thing I notice is where hands are.
You don't want them in the box?
For a big stage with thousands of people, this is a little distracting.
Okay.
So it's just be natural.
Just natural. Just hanging on the side.
Right. So you're 0 to 10, you're at a 3 when we're just hanging out. But on stage, you want to be a 7 or an 8.
And how to nail the most confident entrance possible.
Entrances.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on you.
Okay.
We want Dan to be Dan and whatever feels comfortable for you. I don't want you to be like a robot.
Got it. Welcome. How's that?
Yeah.
And with that, it was go time. Pretty soon I was in Tampa, armed with the tools to bring down boring tech keynotes from the inside. I had a big stage, an audience that I secretly packed with my employees who would laugh and clap at everything I said, and a message I believed in.
Yeah, it's a keynote about a keynote. Is that really your mom?
As I readied myself to let it all out there, I tried to remember all the most important things my mentors told me about giving a tech keynote.
It's an event usually in some kind of vibey theater where a tech CEO, usually a white man unfortunately.
On stage, you want to be a 7 or an 8.
Core voice sound and speech built in.
Rocking it out at CES, yeah, I hear you.
Good morning, TEDx Tampa.
As I pontificated and hand-boxed around stage, I felt what I believe many other CEOs have felt delivering similar presentations. A rush of blood to my Johnson. Indeed, I gave it my all out there and delivered some hard truths to the tech elites of Tampa, Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Jobs is dead. Many keynotes are just pointless. Things you'd find in a sex positions handbook. Hello, sharks. He's dead as can be. Pop-Tarts. Boring. This has all created a tech keynote's arms race. I know it looks like he's alive right there, but that photo was taken before he died. And despite all of my razzing about tech keynotes, ladies and gentlemen, it's not like we're gonna stop doing them, right? No, I love it up here. Now that I think about it, that's actually the best idea I've said all night. Mark Zuckerberg, skin a deer. AI-generated ass name. Create a product that nobody actually wants. The crowd of dorks goes wild. Someone needs to do that in the name of originality. Don't just be a tech man on big stage. Be a tech you on big stage.
And with that, I had done it. With 18 minutes of TED Talk presentation under my belt, I extinguished the industry of tech keynotes once and for all. The days of nerds on stages announcing the iOS whatever the fuck are done. At the end of the day, it was quite the honor to deliver the final keynote presentation in the world, and it wasn't a responsibility I carried lightly. You're welcome, people of Tampa and people of the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me. Let's get this party started. My name's Dan Toomey. Thank you very much. My name's Dan Toomey. Thank you very much.
Curious why you said my name's Dan Toomey. Just what was that about at the end?
That's a nervous tick I have. Often I say that if a date hasn't gone well.
So that was just like your natural...
Out of habit?
Yeah.
Quite frankly, it's also a good thing to say whenever you leave a room.
You were introduced at the beginning, right?
Right.
So I don't think that was necessary.
Okay.